Alright, today I'm going to be talking about this video that CBS News posted about the recent NAR lawsuit that has made it possible for sellers to not pay buyer agents a commission. Let's get into it.
Class action ruling that could change the way Americans buy and sell homes. A federal jury in Missouri on Tuesday found that the National Association of Realtors liable for artificially inflating commissions and awarded plaintiffs $1.8 billion in damages.
Okay, so I don't want to stop this video too many times, but just the first thing here, the price fixing, which is kind of funny to me just because anything is negotiable in real estate. So there's always been a way to negotiate on the seller side. So for instance, they're looking to sell their home and an agent's working with them and they tell them they charge either 5 or 6%, which is the average rate for commission. He could technically negotiate for 3%. I mean, there's Redfin out there charging a 1% flat fee, and so these sellers aren't held to a standard where they have to necessarily pay 5 or 6%.
CBS's Carter Evans takes a look at what it means for the average consumer.
I think that this is going to drastically lower what commission rates are.
Jared Bright's long legal battle with the real estate industry began when he sold his St. Louis home back in 2017. He was frustrated that he had to pay a commission to the buyer's broker.
Certainly, I didn't understand why I was paying for someone who I'd never met, will never meet, and wasn't doing anything for me.
With his point of never meeting the buyer agent that is getting paid half of what the commission is, I understand where he's coming from, because that buyer agent isn't necessarily working for you, but he is working indirectly with a buyer that is going to put in an offer that is looking to buy his home. And so if it weren't for that buyer, the guy wouldn't sell his home. So it's a weird situation, which I understand both sides of it, but these home sellers, they're trying to save as much money as possible or pocket as much money as possible, which I understand. But at the same time, is if you don't pay an agent to bring a buyer, your home might not necessarily sell, or might sell for less money, or whatever it might be.
Here's how it works under the current system. For a $500,000 home, the seller agrees to pay a commission, typically 5 to 6% of the home's selling price. That is then split between the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. Sellers have to pay the commission in order to have their home included on the Multiple Listing Service, or MLS, a vast property database that feeds into popular sites like Zillow.
It doesn't sound like that radical of a concept. You pay for the person who's working for you.
Bright's attorney Michael Ketchmark brought the class action lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors and some of the largest real estate brokers in the country.
What we proved was the National Association of Realtors has joined in a conspiracy with the two of the largest corporate real estate brokers to use the system to fix prices.
Supposedly what he's stating is that the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, had some sort of get together with two largest brokerages and decided to price fix, which I don't see it. I might be wrong, but with any brokerage, whether it's a big brokerage like Keller Williams or it's a small local brokerage, they're the ones deciding how much they're willing to charge. They can charge 6%, they could charge 1%. So I don't think there's necessary price fixing. And what's interesting to me is that with these real estate contracts, it's the seller reading through the contract, acknowledging everything, acknowledging the commission split. I mean, everything's open there. You'll see if you're charging 6%, 3% will go to the buyer's agent, 3% will go to the seller agent. And so these sellers have agreed to this, where they could have negotiated, but they decided not to. They decided to agree and sell the home. Technically, this whole thing is just these home sellers think they've been robbed a certain amount of money, although they, from the get-go, they signed it, they read it, they acknowledged it, and are now having second thoughts about it.
The court determined the current commission model makes it difficult for sellers and buyers to negotiate lower fees at a time when technology makes it easy for anyone to access real estate listings online.
I actually completely agree with this. The internet is a powerful tool. Anything on there, you can find listings, you can find information, whatever it might be. The internet is going to give you access to pretty much everything. And so I'd say most buyers do find their own home when looking to purchase a home. A lot of times these agents just either put them on automatic search, or these home buyers go on Zillow and find the property themselves, and then they ask their agent to show them the house, write up the offer, all the contingencies, negotiate. And so without an agent, which we've seen in other countries, the US is the only country with buyer agency, and so with other countries it's been pretty much the seller agent is responsible for the buyer as well. So with dual agency, that's going to be conflicting, where the seller agent's trying to help the seller net as much money, but then if the seller then has to write up the offers for the buyers, and then the buyers are asking for advice, that's going to conflict dual agency. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I just don't see it happening overnight. It's going to take several years for this to come into effect.
The National Association of Realtors plans to appeal the verdict and says its rules serve in the best interests of consumers.
It's scary and it's daunting, and so we'll see. It's a big shakeup.
LA Realtor Pamela Rich says a shift in fees could put homes out of reach for some. Who could this impact the most?
I think the buyers. Although the seller may have some financial relief, the buyer is now the one that's going to absorb the cost for the buyer's fees. That's a huge shift in the industry.
It's interesting what she said, that it's definitely going to shift the market, and depending in what market you're in. But if buyer agency does end up becoming extinct, or there's some sort of different ruling where home buyers are going to have to come out of pocket to hire a buyer agent, that's going to be more money for the buyers to come out of pocket in order to have representation and purchase the home. So it's going to be interesting with how this is going to shift the market and what effects will play in place and how everything's gonna transition. So it's gonna take some time for all this to happen, and they already said they're gonna appeal it, so it's gonna still take some time till anything even really happens. But it's a big shift. I feel like this has been on the horizon for a while now, that the real estate market's gonna have a big shift, and so this might be it, that it's gonna completely wipe out buyer agents, pretty much just gonna be seller agents. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The link will be in the bottom of the description where you can watch this, but make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see each other next time. Peace.